It shows us that the left projects. This is what they do. They call us racists because they are racists. They call us bigots because they are bigots. They call us hateful because they are hateful. We're not. Just look at any conservative. Generally speaking, we stay pretty calm. Generally speaking, we talk about unity. We talk about love of country. We talk about how the other side isn't evil. They're just very, very wrong, and we need to convince them to be right. What does the left do? I mean, just look at these terror attacks over the weekend, these shootings. The one guy in Texas was an eco-fascist. He had aspects of his ideology that I guess you would call right-wing and aspects that you would call far left-wing. The shooter in Ohio was an avowed leftist, a socialist, an endorser of Elizabeth Warren, and, yes, a fan of Media Matters, this cesspool of hatred that published the hit piece on us. The Ohio shooter literally reposted Media Matters content to his social media pages. And they blame us because they project. Anything that is true of them, they try to accuse us of. They are the haters. They are the bigots. They lie about what we say. They dox us or nearly dox us the way that Joaquin Castro did just a couple days ago. They commit terror attacks like occurred at the ICE facility. We don't know the motive of the Ohio shooter, but we do know he was an avowed leftist. They gaslight us. They try to strip us of our rights. They are a cesspool. And the reason I bring this up now is it's only August of 2019. We went from racist to white nationalist to white supremacist in the eyes of the left more than a year out from the 2020 election. How much hotter is this going to get? What are they going to be calling us next November? They'll call us baby killers. I mean, I guess that's the worst thing I can imagine is being a baby killer. And I guess they'll probably call us that because they always project what they do, and they literally kill babies. And they say that killing babies is a human right and it's wonderful and it should be celebrated and shouted from the rooftops. I do think this is going to backfire. This is the deplorables thing all over again. This is Hillary calling half the country deplorable. Turns out that doesn't help you win presidential elections, doesn't help you bring people over to your cause. They talk about Trump's base. What is Trump's base? Let's call Trump's base, 60 million people voted for him. You figure, say, 10 or 20 million of that is independent or more moderate. So 40 million Americans are white supremacists, neo-Nazis. That's what they're saying? Okay, keep it up, guys. Keep it up. Yep, call them deplorable and irredeemable and Nazis. That's great. Can't wait to see how that serves you in the 2020 election. The madness of all of it. Rosanna Arquette from the Arquette acting family tweeted out yesterday, quote, "I'm sorry I was born white and privileged. It disgusts me. I feel so much shame." That's the madness in their heads. Rosanna, I forgive you. You are absolved. I forgive you. It's okay. I think a lot of this is because the left doesn't have religion. They don't have true religion. And so because everybody's got to serve somebody, because you will guide your human nature toward some religious idea, politics becomes their religion, but there's no absolution. We have a broken human nature, and because there is no redemption in the politics of leftism, there is just shame and guilt and bile and vitriol and bigotry and a cesspool of hatred. And you see this, we don't have time to go through the article, but this is the dumbest article on the internet today. It's from the Huffington Post. "It might be time to cut my right-wing Trump-loving in-laws out of my kids' lives." And they go on to describe these just like grandparents, these just regular grandparents who they oppose illegal immigration, they are Catholic, they adhere to a traditional sexual morality, they don't think that men are women, they don't buy the kind of fashions of the sexual revolution. And this woman says, because my in-laws are conservative, because they hold a political view that half of the country holds, because they go to church on Sundays, because they're Catholic, I cannot allow my children to see them. She writes, she says, I always yell at them on Facebook and I always text them these long creeds about how awful they are and how they need to change their minds. And then she complains, she said, at one point the mother-in-law writes back and says, "Thank you for your note." So she says, okay, thank you, I've heard your point of view. But she says, because they won't change, because they won't become liberals and they won't become atheists, the kids, they can't see their grandchildren. That is the definition of hatred. That is the definition of bigotry. That is a cesspool. And it's not just, there's no moral equivalence. It's not that the left and the right both have this kind of cesspool of hatred and bigotry. They don't. It's not even close. It's just the left.